So my favorite video game series is Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed series. I've played through every entry in the mainline games, so today I thought I could just do a simple tier list to rank my favorites to my least favorites. So welcome to Matt's Media Space. My name is Matt, this is my media space, and let's get into my ranking for all the mainline Assassin's Creed games. Okay, so here we go. I've got the tier list all set up here. I did have to add Mirage and Shadows because this one wasn't quite up to date, but now I've got all of them here, and I have the tiers as follows. So the ones that I really like I have under great, the ones that are good are good, the more middle of the pack ones, the ones that are just average, I have is fine. I got one I don't like, and I have one that I had never actually finished. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go just by top to bottom, not chronologically. So I'll start up at the top at great and then move down to the bad ones. So here we go. So to start off with great, I think obviously we're going to put Assassin's Creed 2 under great. Yeah, it was the first great story, the great characters. It made the gameplay loop in this one was probably the most refined and not most refined, but it was executed to perfection given the time that it was made. So there we go. Assassin's Creed 2 is under great. Also under great is its direct sequel, which is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, because I think it took everything that was in Assassin's Creed 2 and made it better. All the different gameplay additions were great, like chain executions, be able to chain attacks together. The addition of the crossbow was great, and and the story was still good. And even though it was all connected into one city, being Rome, I honestly think that made it a little better, a little less sprawled out, because we know what happens when it gets really big. And there's more great ones, so let's move on to the next great one, which is Black Flag. And I think Black Flag is, some would argue it's more of a pirate game than it is an Assassin's Creed game, which is fine. It's great. And mostly because like all the best missions and all the best gameplay parts of it is when you're on the sea, when you're on the ship and all that, and all the land ones where you're tailing people did get a bit boring, and unfortunately you did have to do a ship tailing one, which was really annoying. But I think this had some of the most fun gameplay. The story was great. The main character, Edward, was really cool. And yeah, and whether you want to enjoy it as an Assassin's Creed game or as a pirate game, I think they're both valid ways of going at it. And once again, I just think it's great. And next up on great, there's gonna be a lot of great ones. It is my favorite series, so I'm a little biased, admittedly, but is Assassin's Creed Origins. And with Origins, it was the start of the new RPG style of Assassin's Creed games. Syndicate released, that didn't do so well, so they had to pivot to a new style. And I think that Origins was a great start. I would think it was a really great idea to have it set during ancient Egypt, with all its sprawling landscapes, its different environments, and a lot of the things that I really liked about the new RPG style Assassin's Creed games that I know a lot of people don't like the RPG style Assassin's Creed games, and I'll get more into it when I talk about the other two. I do like the exploration of these ones a lot, and I'll say why in other ones, because they more demonstrate why I like the exploration of these RPG Assassin's Creed games. So yeah, I love exploring, and that's one of the things I actually like about it. And it's one of the things that people really don't like about it, is just the running around and just run around aimlessly, but I actually like that part. So But I'll move on because I do have more great ones. I have two more great ones actually, and the next one is the next one after this is Odyssey. Now, I like Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I just have interest in ancient Greeks in general, and I think that honestly this was a really, really fun game, even though it got into how, even though it really started the whole bloatedness of the next two. But I honestly think that this game is really, really fun. The combat is really good if you really know how to get the hang of it, and honestly it gives you a great idea of being maybe not a assassin per se, but just as a Greek warrior, being able to dress up in different things, create different weapons. And I'm gonna start to get into why I like the RPG style Assassin's Creed games with its with its worlds and its exploration, because there's a lot of ruins going on. There's a lot of ruined things going on here that you've heard in different Greek tales and all that. Like in this game, you get to visit Ithaca, which is the home of Odysseus, and from the Odyssey, and you get to see the ruins of his palace, and for me, I thought that was really cool because you get to go through these ruins, and I got to imagine, like what these palaces and these buildings were like in their heyday. And once again, I got that same feeling when I visit Mycenae in the south, where Agamemnon was from the Iliad, and it's the same thing. It's ruined now, but you get to imagine in your head, or at least I got to, what these places were like when they were complete, or when they were being lived in, or what everything was like when it was like a bustling city. And that's why I like these ones so much, and it's the same reason I like Valhalla too. And to move on to the last one that I'll deem great is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And I know that this one didn't sell so well. I think the technical issues and the bugginess of Unity had a lot to do with that. But I think I liked Assassin's Creed Syndicate a lot because of the system of having two different characters that you can switch back and forth as much as you want. The setting of Victorian England was really cool. It was like, it's almost just modern enough to know what it's like, but then also you still got some fairly tall buildings that you got to jump across rooftops and everything and do the whole Assassin's Creed assassin spiel. And I like how all the real world figures, like Alexander Graham Bell, Charles Dickens, all of them, I like how they were incorporated into the story without it feeling forced. There are some games that I felt where they were kind of forced in. It didn't feel like that here, and that's why it's one of my favorites. So moving on to the next level, we have good. So I'm going to start with Assassin's Creed Revelations, the third entry in the Ezio trilogy. And I like Assassin's Creed Revelations mostly for all the different reasons. I liked Brotherhood. Of all the gameplay additions that they made, well, mostly all of them, it improved on the gameplay of the games in a really in the major way where it made a lot more fun. With Brotherhood, you started like being able to recruit new assassins that continued in Revelations. All the chain attacks got more fluid, more easier to execute, and honestly sometimes it got more brutal. The reason why it's in good is because of the Assassin Den Tower Defense minigame, which wasn't horrible per se, because they were trying something new, it was something different, but it just it still felt kind of pointlessly tacked on when it didn't really need it. But at the time, you could appreciate the fact that they tried something new, and when they saw that it wasn't popular, it didn't work that well, they never did it again. And that's totally fine. It's about, there's some trial and error with sometimes you want to try and try and fail with different new mechanics in like a long running series, and that's what they did here. Also in good is Assassin's Creed Unity. And Assassin's Creed Unity, once you get through all the technical issues, because it was a glitchy game for a lot of people, it is still a very good game underneath the surface. And I know that because I got really lucky with this, and this one actually worked pretty well for me. I was lucky enough to get a pretty mostly stable copy, so I was able to play the game through the entire way without too many problems. And that's how I know that that underneath the surface of its technical issues, this is still a solid Assassin's Creed game. I didn't love the combat for it. That was needlessly frustrating to do. But the new free running, free climbing parkour system was probably one of the best it's ever been. Like the fluidness, the ability to be more creative of going up and down buildings and traversing through the rooftops and being able to do different moves and all that. The Phantom Blade was an interesting twist on the Hidden Blade design. That was kind of cool. And the co-op was fun for the most part when I got it to work, and when there were other players actually in there. For the record, I'm glad they didn't continue with the co-op. Although a part of me wishes they did continue so that they could like make refinements. Like I kind of wish they didn't instantly drop certain mechanics of Assassin's Creed games after one game. I kind of wish they continue it, but improve on it and fix what's wrong with it and make it better. But it is what it is. Okay, next one in good is going to be Valhalla. And Valhalla is basically a lesser Odyssey for me. I do like the setting a lot. You don't really play as an assassin, which is fine, but I do like the setting of it being in during the Viking raids of England and all that, and playing as a Viking raider was always really fun, because of Eivor's just brutal fighting style, and how it's just so aggressive and sort of a take no prisoners type thing, and that was really fun. Longship raids was really fun for me. And the same thing with Odyssey. You get to explore a lot of different ruins from when the Romans were there and then the Romans left, and and all the buildings are still there, and you're in there, you're looking at it, and it's like you're imagining what it's like when these buildings were fresh and new, and what the area was like in its heyday when the Romans were still there. And I do like all the interesting, and I do like the twists of some things, and some things I wasn't crazy about. I did like the how the main villain, the King Alfred was the main villain, but yet he wasn't really the main villain. But then he gets the idea to start the Templars, and it's just kind of, and it was interesting in a way, I think, and one thing to note, now I've gotten to the end of all these three, the kind of like the antiquity trilogy of Assassin's Creed RPG games, is like games like these live service games, they get a lot of bad rap, and rightfully so, because they release a game and then they make a lot of promises later that they don't always follow through on with their roadmaps and all that. A game like Anthem is a prime example, because they had like three things set up, 3 stages to set up in a roadmap, like, oh, we're gonna get this and this, and none of it came to fruition. The one thing I would give Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed credit for is that with Odyssey and with Valhalla, when they gave you a roadmap, they followed through on that roadmap. Like Valhalla, for example, you bought the season pass, and season pass, they have a bad rap too, but that's not the discussion here. They laid out the roadmaps, like, oh, you're going to get Wrath of the Druids at this point, and then you're going to get the Siege of Paris here, and then lo and behold, once those release dates came, the content came. They fulfilled that roadmap, and they even continue to fulfill Valhalla with more and more content that the original roadmap didn't even promise. It didn't promise, the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC, but they got that too. And like the constant support of Valhalla that's had over the years, these seasonal festival events and all that, like Valhalla has received like tons of support over the years, and sometimes as bad as live services are, credit to Ubisoft and Valhalla particular, for giving that constant support over the years that a lot of these games have promised. And Avengers is another example that, they promised years and years of support, and I think it got shut down after like a year and a half or something. It's so just like that. It's just credit to them for actually doing that and giving that support. So, okay, moving on to the last good one. Now that I've got through that little spiel, is the last one to come out, which is Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, admittedly, I was actually going to skip this one because I just kept thinking in my head, hey, if I want Assassin's Creed in Japan, I would just play Ghost of Tsushima. But like, because it was delayed, it gave me some time to to let it mull over. It's like, what? I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it is. And it is like the other ones. It's a solid game. Of course, I prefer to play as Naue, the shinobi, because she is an actual ninja, and Yasuke is a samurai and is not quite as fun to play as. Although using the katana was pretty nasty work, but and the story is how I thought it would be. While I do have my own ideas for an Assassin's Creed set in Japan, I think the Sengoku period during the time of the 3 great unifiers of Japan is a good idea. It's around where it's the same period as the original story for Assassin's Creed in Japan was. They were just different characters, but it was definitely set during the same period. Which sort of made me think they were going to do something new, but they just used the same time period and just put in new characters, which I think is fine because the gameplay is still solid. Again, I like exploring the worlds, Japan in particular, because upon visiting Japan, you get to, go to different settings and see what it's like. Even though I only like positively found like a couple places that I've been to when I went to Japan that I found in the map, but it's still fun to explore. It's still fun to see how the environments are, see how things unfold, and I don't think it. Like a lot of things that Ubisoft has released over the past few years, it doesn't deserve the hate it gets. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Fine, and I only have a couple in Fine. And the first one that's going to be in Fine is the first Assassin's Creed. And I will tell you why the first Assassin's Creed is just fine and not good or great, is because I've always found the first Assassin's Creed to be more of a proof of concept than a game. You know, Ubisoft had this idea that sprang up from the Prince of Persia series, and yeah, it mostly felt like a prototype because, you know, like, you know, the mission structure didn't vary enough that it did in Assassin's Creed 2. You know, most of this stuff, most of it was the same thing. You know, all the missions were the same thing. You know, you had pickpocketing, you had listening, you had, you know, you surveyed the area to find these missions, and and it was just like it was like the most basic of Ubisoft loops. This was when the Ubisoft like gameplay loop started, and this was the loop at its most basic form. But you know, it spawned like so many different sequels, but this is where it started, and it started as, you know, can we make this work? Does the storyline appeal to people? And it did. And you know, they just sprung off and, you know, added more and more different gameplay elements from there. But yeah, like I said, Assassin's Creed, it's fine. No, it's in the row of fine, so it's fine. But yeah, it was a prototype game, and it worked out. And you know, it sprang sequels and spin-offs and all that, and several entries later, we are where we're at now. The next one to be in fine is, I don't know if I'm gonna put Freedom Cry. I wonder why Freedom Cry is there, but I'll skip that one. Is Rogue. Assassin's Creed Rogue was okay, but it didn't like differentiate itself enough gameplay wise from the previous ones, like Black Flag or 3. So I didn't love it as much, and I didn't really get into it. So maybe it's because of the character, I don't know, but yeah, didn't love it, but it was fine. You know, I mean, I liked Black Flag, so Rogue was just kind of like the same thing, so that's why I went with it. And so those are the two fine ones. The one that I don't like, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I do not like Assassin's Creed 3. I'll tell you why. The setting was an interesting choice. No, Revolutionary era, colonial America era doesn't provide a lot of, you know, I mean, you had the trees, he could climb trees, which was fine, but the main reason why I don't like Assassin's Creed 3 is because of the main character. I do not like Connor because, I don't know, he was just so angry. He was angry, and he was also kind of a dick to people. Like I don't know too much about his personality, honestly. The only thing I remember of him is that he was a dick to everybody. Like, everybody he encountered, everybody who was his ally, his friend, who tried to help him, all he was either a dick or he yelled at them. He ran around and he was a dick to people, and he also ran around and he yelled at people. Like, all the times he yelled at Achilles was annoying. One of the ones that was really annoying was how he treated Paul Revere. It was so bizarre. Like, why are you turning your chin up to Paul Revere? No, like he was a friendly enough guy, and you know, just, yeah, that's one of the main reasons. And like a lot of the bigger moments in Assassin's Creed 3 just didn't really thrill me that much as well. Like The Bunker Hill battle was disappointing. You know, the opening, like the opening sequences, you know, where you play as his father and you find out he's a Templar and all that, that took way too long. Like, that was a long one. And yeah, didn't like it. And now to finish off, we have Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I did not finish. Maybe I will finish it. I still have it, and I still have it on my PS5. I have to re-download it, but I still have it. And maybe it's because of, well, I'm not really interested, or I didn't really love Bossum as a character in general, is why I didn't really get into it. But at the time, I was also really kind of fatigued by Assassin's Creed, to be honest with you. As much of a fan as I am, at the time I was just really fatigued. I was Assassin's Creed fatigued by it. I don't know why, but because I bought it on day one, really excited to start playing it, but then I started playing, it's like I'm not really feeling it. So I just stopped playing it after a while, and I just went back to other games that I was playing, enjoying a lot more. But you know what? I'm probably going to revisit Mirage at a later date. So I can't really have an opinion too much about it. It opened fine. I didn't really like the combat. Maybe it's because I didn't really want to get into combat that much, because I didn't really like it that much when I did the first little bits of combat. So maybe that's why I just wasn't really excited that if I ever got into combat, I would have to do the combat mechanic, and I didn't like it. But yeah, I'll probably revisit it eventually. You know, if I ever get around to it. But yeah, so yeah, this is my Assassin's Creed tier list. Take a good look at it, and if you agree or disagree, feel free to leave a comment and tell me how wrong I am, or tell me what an idiot I am that I didn't like Assassin's Creed 3, or tell me what kind of Ubisoft shill I am for liking Assassin's Creed Shadows, even though I have 17 subscribers, and who the heck would actually pay me, and you know, why would Ubisoft pay somebody with such a small audience to make up an opinion about a Ubisoft game? But you know, I guess I'm just not allowed to like things, but you know, but that's all I have. So if you like my videos and you want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, this has been Matt from Matt's Media Space, and I'll see you in the next one.